The other day, I woke up to information that there had been another mass shooting. And you guys know these mass shootings have really been upsetting me. I'm very upset about them. I've been upset about them ever since Columbine. I became conscious of them. And it wasn't, it was 5 people that I think were murdered. That was the last count that I got last night. And I think it was 18 or was it 25? Might have been 25 at that point who had been injured. I didn't get any details about the shooter. Only thing they said was that it was a guy and he was 22 years old. So I wanted to do a reading on this, and I'm just like, I've never done readings on. I think I might have did one, but I don't think I recorded it. But yeah, this I think is my first recording, or one of the few recordings I've done with a reading like this. So what I'm going to do is underneath this video, I'm going to be sure to tell you all the decks that I use. Whenever I do a reading, I always try to remember to do that. So if you're interested, please look under the video. I hate when people do readings and I'm all into the cards and I'm like, oh my God, what deck is that? And you send them a message, they don't get back to you, I hate that. So I always try to remember to put each deck underneath the video and a link to where you can legitimately buy it if I do have one. I am an Amazon affiliate, so I always have Amazon links, and they give us a few pennies if we, send people to our link. So I really do appreciate it when you use my link. Even if a couple pennies is better than no pennies, okay? I will take every dime I can get. So anyway, let's do the introduction, and then we are going to take a look at the situation at Club Q. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please pass it on to someone else who would like to hear about this unfortunate and tragic event. Please leave us a comment in the comment section, a positive comment, please. And if you would like to get a reading done, all of my information is underneath this video, including my Patreon, my Amazon wish list, my PayPal, in case you want to send, my Cashapp, in case you want to send a donation to the channel. And a whole bunch of other stuff is underneath this video, so please check it out. Alright, so we're going to take a look at this situation at Club Q. I was told that it happened, or I read that it happened, or heard that it happened in Colorado Springs. Never been there. But I'm going to move this up because of the glare. Alright, so this is what we know so far. The first thing that we know is that the person that did this is an emperor. The emperor is not a bad card in itself. I would never say that. But the emperor is a very rigid card. This is a person who is like father knows best. This person is somebody who thinks that this person could be literally a father, as in have a child, or it can be somebody who thinks they know best, like a father to a child, like we're their children, and a lot of us know types like this. Their ego is so large that they think that they can tell you how to be, you how to live, you what to do. And that's the kind of person that this shooter is. This person thinks they know everything, they're in charge of everything, everybody should listen to them. And they don't care how you feel. They don't care what you want to do for your life. They don't care about any of that. This person just believes in their thought processes, and their thought processes are very traditional. It could be religious. It doesn't necessarily have to be. But this reminds me of the dogmatic energy of some of the Christian groups. And hashtag not all Christians, because I have Christians in my family and I grew up in a Christian church. So it's not all of them, but there are certain people who have this kind of dogmatic, rigid thinking, and they will kill you. And we've seen this all through history. They will kill you literally if you don't do what they think you should do with your life, which I think is bogus, and most of us do. It's like you need to do with your life what you see fit, whether or not I agree with it or not. This emperor camp doesn't believe that. So you're going to do what they think you should do, or they think you should be dead. And that's why this man went up in this club and shot all these innocent people. So the second card here is the Three of Pentacles. I'm going to put it up and I'm going to move it to the side. And I'm going to pull this in. So this card here is the Three of Materials. This is saying that we need to all live and let live. The Three of Materials, for any of you who are tarot readers, this is the Three of Pentacles. So this is the indication of collaboration, working together, living and letting live, you know. Look at the ladies here. They're all kind of different. We got different races going on, maybe different age, probably about the same age group, but different races, maybe different socioeconomics, different orientations. And this is telling us and I've always said this, it's like live and let live. Love each other, be tolerant of each other's differences. Nobody has to be like you. And this emperor feels like this. Like we all got to do what the emperor tell us to do. And you not the boss of me, emperor. So the Three of Materials is telling us to work together, to love each other, to embrace each other's differences, and not continue to let that be a hindrance. A person's differences should not stop you. It shouldn't make you hate them. It shouldn't make you want to kill them. I don't care if it's their sexuality, if it's their race, nothing like that. And it's not right. And all of us do this at different points. We think I'm right. This group is wrong and my way is right. Guess what? Even if you're right and your way is right, that person's life journey is to figure out what's right for them. So maybe they're going to figure out your way is right. Maybe they are. Maybe you want them to convert to, let's say you want them to convert to your spiritual system. Maybe your spiritual system is a good one for them, but they need to discover whatever they're going to discover on their own without you browbeating them with your opinion. Let people discover on their own. This is the important thing about parenting. It's allowing your kid to discover themselves and not trying to make them into what you want them to be. And this is true about everything. So that's what we get from this Three of Pentacles, to work together, to love each other, you know, to be in collaboration, to cooperate with one another, to stop treating each other like shit, to stop being racist and prejudiced against each other for stupid shit like colors. What difference does it make that I'm a different color than you, or ethnicity, or I'm a different culture, or we live on the same island, but your culture is different than mine, so I hate you? That makes no fucking sense. And this card is telling us we need to stop that. And I've been saying this since I was a child. I remember being a little girl in kindergarten thinking this. And this isn't to say that I haven't had my own personal prejudices, because I have. But whenever I come across one in myself, I tell myself, you ain't right. I tell myself, that is not right. You can't, you wouldn't like somebody to do that to you. That's the first thing I say to myself. And then I sit and I think about it and I rationalize it. And that is true. The outcome card is the Hanged Muse. So the outcome is that he is, I don't know, this card indicates somebody who is stuck. So he's going to be stuck in two different ways. Number one, he's not going to let go of his crazy ideas. The things that he thinks and believes, he's going to think and believe until the last day. I don't care if he tells the world or his lawyer tells him to lie or whatever he does, but he's going to hold on to those beliefs. This card also indicates that he's going to be caught up. He's going to be detained. So he is either going to face life imprisonment, the death penalty, because sometimes they do literally hang you. He's going to face some major punishment and consequences for these actions. So that's actually good news. It doesn't bring back the people that we lost or heal the injuries, but at least we know that more than likely justice will serve. This card here is telling us that he was really like focused. The Page of Pentacles is focused. And this card here is the Moon card. It came up reversed, but I'm going to put it in the upright so you can enjoy this beautiful artwork. Just remember when I read it that it's reversed. So in this one we see here, he was the page of materials. Again, page of pentacles. Very focused on this particular community. And this is interesting to me because I'm like, why were you so focused on a community that you do not belong to? Why are you so focused on this? And I see a lot of heterosexuals that have diseased minds. They focus on this, and it's not just them, it's others too. We're getting ready to see, and it's not just at hashtag not all heterosexuals. We have some awesome allies in the heterosexual community too, but there are some that are so focused, and it's weird to me, like when I hear them talking, I'm like, why are you so focused on what other people are doing in their bedroom? That's the strangest thing to me. I'm never concerned about what other people are doing. I'm not going to be there. You ain't giving me none. I'm not getting any of it. So why do I care? And I've seen so many people in the heterosexual community, and they come at it from a religious standpoint sometimes. Sometimes it's a scientific standpoint. They have a whole bunch of different justifications for their bigotry, but it's different things. And he was one of those people who had justifications for his own bigotry and was too focused on this community to a point that it was unhealthy. You shouldn't be studying this community or focused on this community like it's a job or a career or your education. That's what this card indicates. The Page of Pentacles is usually focused on work or school. So why are you focusing on a community the same way you would focus on work or school? That makes no sense. You're too newsy. Mind your business. If you're not in the bed with these people, it's not your business. Now, again, the Knight of Voices. The Knight of Voices is the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is all about ideas and thoughts and vocalizing them. So he found it to be very important that he expressed himself in this way. This murder was not because, and I think this is true of maybe most mass shootings, this was not just because some random person, had a pistol. This was a statement. This is a statement. He is trying to, make his voice and his opinions heard. He hates this community for whatever reason, and he wanted that to be understood. And he wanted people in this community to fear him and to know that. Now, remember, I told you guys that the Moon card was reversed. So when the Moon card is reversed, it's really telling us that he, along with him being fixated and it turning unhealthy, his mind ain't right. This boy not right. Because when the moon is reversed, we're dealing with the dark side of the moon. This is a very dark individual with a lot of dark thoughts, okay? So when the moon is reversed, this is somebody whose lunacy has taken over. His fixation, his thoughts and beliefs have taken over his mind to the point where he thought it was acceptable to go murder and shoot a bunch of people just because he didn't agree with who they chose to love. So his mind is out there. And you see a lot of mental illness in these mass shootings. They're not all mentally ill, I don't think. I mean, I don't know what you want to call that, because some people could argue that they're all mentally ill, that you have to be mentally ill to do something like this. But then some people will argue that maybe they're under some other type of influence, such as, spiritual or drug or something like that. So in his case, it's definitely mental illness. This boy wasn't right. He wasn't right from day one, and all of this fixation and all of this stuff came up and made it even worse. Now, another thing that this card indicates is that he may not be heterosexual. And remember I said before, sometimes this happens with heterosexuals. Well, sometimes it also happens with people who are fighting their sexuality. So this dark side of the moon says he's having subconscious things go on in his mind that he is not comfortable with. So maybe seeing gay people together, gay men together, maybe it triggers some feelings in him, because it's definitely triggering something on the dark side of the moon. So it's triggering something on his subconscious or his unconscious that he'd rather not be triggered. So it may come out that this guy is not heterosexual. So this might not even be on the heterosexual community. This might actually be one of our own who either hasn't accepted himself and he's mad because the others have accepted themselves, or he perceives that they've accepted themselves. Or it could just be the fact that he's mentally ill, and maybe he was shunned or something happened at the club. Maybe he tried to, holler at somebody and they shunned him, and it made him scared, insecure, and think back. Now a person like him, I really don't think that is the scenario as far as him trying to talk to somebody. I would pretty much think that he planned this out, and like I said before, he went in there with this as his motive. And I think that the underlying motivation, the internal factor, is that homeboy is not 100% sure about his sexual orientation. And we all know that when that happens, sometimes it becomes a fixation that becomes unhealthy, and in a diseased mind, this is what could happen. So this young man definitely has issues. Now we're going to look at his archetype. I found this to be fascinating. Remember I talked about he's either a father or somebody who thinks he's our father? This one came up reversed. I'll explain later. I'm going to put it in the upright, but I'm going to explain the reverse. I love these cards because the way that it comes up tells you which part of it to read. So if it comes up in the upright, you read the top. If it comes up in the reverse, you read the bottom part. So we're going to look at this one. So one of his archetypes is the father. So either, again, he's a father or he sees himself as a father. And I know he sees himself as a father. I just don't know if he's actually a parent or not. But he definitely sees himself as somebody who is guiding. He thinks that he's showing the rest of us the way. Guys, we are misguided, and we do not understand that this 22-year-old boy has it all figured out. Come on now. How many of us thought we had it all figured out at 22 years old? Stop it. Just stop. So he thought he has it all figured out, and the rest of us need to listen to his ramblings. And since we're not doing the right thing, he gonna shoot up the club. Okay? So real delusional. This boy delusional. Now, this one came out reversed, so we have to read the bottom. Reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. So to him, this was one of those mechanical solutions. Okay, y'all want to be homosexuals? Well, I'm going to shoot the place up. No regard for the people that were inside. No regard for the emotional consequences on himself or on their families, because this affected him too. He is 9 times out of 10 lost his entire life at 22 years old. All of the things he could have done, seen, accomplished, experienced are gone now. Either he's going to be pushing up daisies in a few years because he got the electric chair, but I don't know which state he's in and if their state does that or not. Or he's going to be spending the rest of his life, the remainder of his life, in somebody's prison. So it's like no emotional consequences for himself, no regard for the consequences for these beautiful families that have now lost their loved ones to this senseless death for no fucking reason. He's accomplished nothing and destroyed his own life and the lives of the people that he's taken. So it's like, mental health is real, people. Mental health is real. I know a lot of y'all already know that, but if you don't know that and you know somebody that needs help, or if you yourself need help, please get it, because this is the kind of stuff that happens when people don't get the help. It doesn't have to be this extreme as in a mass murder, but just bad things happen. And then look at this. He also saw himself as passing on his wisdom to us. He is our mentor, guys. We are just children, and he is here to mentor us on the right way to go. So basically, in his mind, the right way to go is to come up with a plan to murder as many people. He sounds kind of like Hitler, or like any other dictator who decides to murder, ethnically cleansed, I think was the word they used in one awful tragedy, people that they don't agree with, basically. So this guy, he's really off, as you can see. He has these illusions of grandeur, and he thinks that he our daddy. Like, dude, I have a dad. He passed away, but I don't need a replacement. Thank you. Now, these cards here, I asked heaven, I asked the angels, I asked whoever was listening, the spirit guides, all set. If they would give us some messages from the 5 people who were murdered. So I have 5 messages here. The first message is that it's not your fault. There is someone or someones surrounded with this situation that are blaming themselves, even though they had nothing to do with this. This person is feeling like they could have done more. I feel like this is one of the heroes from the scene, because I saw on the news that there were heroes. There was a woman. There was it was a man. I know one was a man, and one was a drag. I don't know if it was a drag star or what, but there was somebody who was in drag, and they said this person had on these big chunky platform heels and was stomping. It was like stomping the shooter. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. If you're in a situation and there is a mass shooting, I mean, I can't tell you to go, stomping on the shooter, but if you can, save yourself and everybody else, why not? I mean, I know some people are like, well, that's not, that's dangerous. I wouldn't do that. Okay, I feel you. I agree with you. If you don't think it's the right thing to do, don't do it. But I know if it was me and I was in a situation like this, I can't say what I would do, because you know how that is. You can always say, oh, I would do this or I wouldn't do that, and then it happened and you not even know. But I would like to believe that if I saw a shot, I would take it. And these heroes did that. And I really want to give them props and respect. And rest in peace to those who passed away. Before I forget, I want to make sure I put that in this video. And those who were hurt, I hope that they have a speedy recovery. But these people who are blaming themselves because they didn't do enough, or I should have been there, or I shouldn't have let them go, or whatever they're thinking, these guilty people we've left behind, this particular spirit is saying it's not your fault. This is the fault of that 22-year-old nut job, period. It's not anybody else's fault. So whoever did or didn't do or didn't go, or I could have did, you've done enough. You did everything that you could, and this spirit is saying none of this is your fault, and not to hold on to that guilt. So I don't think that the people who are involved with this will see this video, but I'm just putting it out there because that's the message that the spirit gave us. Spirit number 2 said, I wish I had told you more often how much I love you. So this spirit is just wishing. And something, when I saw this card, I said to myself, you know what, this should be a wake-up call for all of us. Tell your loved ones how much you love them. Most of us do not do this enough, I swear. I'm trying to think of the last time I said this to my loved ones. I mean, say it often. Say it sincerely and say it often. Because a lot of people who pass over or who are on their deathbed, this is one of the biggest regrets. Don't let it be yours. Number 3. As a soul, I can be in several places at once. So this spirit wants us to know that they'll be with us. They'll be with all of us. They will be with whoever calls upon them or needs their guidance. The spirits always tell me this. The angels tell me this. The spirits tell me this. They can be in more than one place at a time. That's why I can call Archangel Michael. You can call Archangel Michael. And somebody across the world can be sitting with Michael. And Michael can be in all these places at once. Because spirits don't have the same physical limitations that we do. So this spirit is saying that they will be with all of us that call upon them. Their kids, their mothers, their fathers, whoever calls upon them, they're letting them know they can be in more places than once, and they will be there. Let me put this over here. These are the last 2. So the 4th spirit said, I always give you a kiss goodnight. This person is saying that they're going to always kiss their loved ones at night. So it's probably a child, or it could be anybody really, but especially like a spouse or a loved one. But they're letting them know that they're always going to give them a good night kiss. You might even feel it. Sometimes when people get this card, they'll tell me, "Oh, I've seen that person. They've kissed me in my dream," or I saw them on my way to sleep, or something like that. So it's saying here that this spirit will make sure to keep that connection. And the last one, although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. So this spirit is saying everything happens for a reason. And when things like this, senseless things like this happen, that's when I struggle. Like, what was the reason for this? A lot of times, the truth is that a lot of times good things do come out of these situations. Sometimes a bill will get introduced into Congress that saves other lives. Sometimes a person who was involved may end up being a spokesperson for the community and making positive change in the community or something like that. So you never know why something happens. As a person left behind, I never want to hear this stuff. I don't. As a person who is left behind, honestly, I don't want to hear that everything happens for a reason. But it's true. It is true. Everything does happen for a reason. But as a person involved in a tragedy, that's still heartbreaking. But some of the times having our hearts broken is where the change comes from. So one of the things I've been really upset about these mass shootings, and I'm hoping that it affects gun control. I'm hoping that it affects policies. So maybe these mass shootings, maybe that's what will come out of them, is things that will stop other people from being murdered, things that will stop other people from going through this. I mean, can you imagine how many of you out there have gone to a nightclub? And how many of you can imagine dancing on a dance floor, nice and high, you drunk, drunk, just dancing, and all of a sudden, gunshots. That is the most terrifying shit in the world. And I've been in clubs, many clubs. I like bars personally, but I've been in clubs. And can you imagine? I remember last night I was doing the research because I was trying to find out what happened. I didn't even know what happened. I just knew there was a shooting at Club Q. And I was looking at like a 3 or 4 minute news report about the situation. And one of the guys was saying how he was dancing on the dance floor. The gunshots rang out. He thought the gunshots were music, because a lot of music, especially a lot of that ratchet, the ratchet music, it has a lot of gunshots and sirens and all kind of stuff like that. So he thought it was the music and kept dancing. So people dying and he's still dancing, and other people on the dance floor that didn't even know. Finally, he realized what was going on, and he went backstage to where the entertainment, changed their clothes, and he hid in that back room until it was over. He heard everything, y'all. Everything. He heard people getting gunned down, and it wasn't just gay people. I just want to impress this upon you. It wasn't just gay people there that night. It was all kinds of people. I remember one of the heroes was there. And he was there with his daughter and her boyfriend. And they were just there to support their allies. They're allies. They're to support somebody who was one of the performers in the show. So I ask you, if you have hatred in your heart, do everything you can to weed it out. Do everything you can to let that go. Let people live and be live. Live and let live, as they say. I ask you, if you're one of those people, or if you know someone who's one of those people, encourage them to let it go. We don't need any more dead people for any reason. I mean, people are going to die every day. We don't need to help. We don't need to help with that. That's already going to happen naturally. So thank you guys for watching this video, and much love. Much love to all of you. Take care. Oh, and you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.